Is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. I'm just setting up for the show here, and we got a great one. We got a great show today. Oh, man, there's so much to cover. All right, we're going to start with that. Okay, we got that. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Oh, this is just an exciting day. Are you guys not excited? How could you not be excited today, right? This is like the best MAGA Monday in a while. This is great. We're doing so well. We're winning everything. Okay, so I've got to... So here more. Okay. Oh, that's why. Hey, guys. Just, okay, 1, 2. There we go. Okay, good. All right. I had a little noise in the headphone. In the headphones, I had to get rid of. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be live in a few minutes. I'm just setting everything up still. And we have an exciting show ahead today, no doubt. Very exciting show. There's just so much going on. And it's all good news. We've just got a lot of winning going on with Trump. That's it. I mean, it's just we're winning on every single front there is. Things could not be going better, really, if you're MAGA. They could not be going better. Of course, if you're a Democrat, that's a whole nother story. But I'm not worried about the Democrats. Are you guys worried about the Democrats? Excellent. All right, we are set up to go. Now, guys, I pinned a link in the chat. It's going to be in the other chat too. It's already there. One of our regular YouTube watchers, he asked me if I could help him and his family out by asking you all to buy a copy or two of his books. He's got 2 books, and he's a dad. His family's running into some financial trouble. And as opposed to starting like a crowdfunding thing, like a Kickstarter, he's got a couple of children's books that he's written. And I've put the link to the books pinned in the chat. There's also a link in the description of the video. If you could click that link and buy one or both of those books, you'd really be helping them out. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did that too. That would just be so nice. And, you gotta, I really like that he's doing it this way, where he's like actually offering you something as opposed to doing like a Kickstarter. Yep, the link is pinned in the live chat. And I'd appreciate it and be very grateful to you if you could click that link and buy one or both of those books, one of our regular YouTube watchers. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to start with what Trump is doing with the cleaning up in D.C. I'm going to start with that. That is a huge story. Huge story. Welcome, everyone. I was talking about it on the early stream. It's a great MAGA Monday, no question. And we are winning. We're winning bigly, guys. Bigly winning. Doesn't get better than this. We could not win more than we're winning. Could not be winning more. Welcome. Sherry just subscribed, and also Marlene just subscribed. Welcome, Marlene, a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. We'll be live in about 10 minutes. The show will start on the air, and then we'll get right into it and take your calls. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to start with the homeless story and the crime cleanup in D.C. That's so exciting, And I got to thank the president, too, for scheduling the press conference after the show today. I appreciate that. I would hate for him to have that press conference while I was on the air, although I guess I could carry it live. Hey, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is one of my cats. Hey, Coca-Cola, what's up, man? He's playing. That's right, subscribe. Yep, Coca-Cola. Hey, Coca-Cola. See if I can reach him. Hey, guy. I'll show you guys. This is Coca-Cola, his brother Pepsi. I don't know where Pepsi... Oh, Pepsi's sleeping in the chair. This is Coca-Cola. Say hi, Coca-Cola. Yeah, they're cute. Him and his brother. His brother is Pepsi. There you go. All right. Back to playing. And then my daughter's cat, Haku, is behind the green screen. And then our other cat, Luna, she is sleeping too. Okay. About 5 or 6 minutes we'll be live. Oh yeah, very exciting day. Very exciting day. This is a great day, guys. This is a great day. Aren't you guys excited? You got to be just as excited as I am. If you love Trump, you've got to be super excited. Haku. Haku's my daughter's cat. One of my daughter's cats is with us. Her other cat is with her. Now, those of you that are new, I'll start a regular long-form stream right before I go live. And on this stream with the green screen behind me, you can obviously see and hear me. You'll hear the callers when they call in. But to hear the audio sound bites or see the videos and the things I show, for the full green screen effect, you'll have to go to the other screen. On the other stream, I should say. On this stream, you'll just hear me, see me, and hear the callers when I take calls. We've got about 5 minutes. A little less than that. I'm just reading over a couple things. Jeanette, welcome. New subscriber to the channel. Welcome, Jeanette. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You'll enjoy the channel, I promise. We'll be live in 4 minutes. 4 minutes and counting. Two minutes. I'm sorry, 3 minutes. We'll be live in 3 minutes. 2 minutes. All right. Now, guys, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I'll mention it a few times today. I posted a link to a couple of books in the live chat. One of our regular YouTube watchers, they've asked me to help them and their family out, as opposed to doing a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding or GoFundMe. They're offering those books. So if you could buy one or both of those books, I'd greatly appreciate it. You'd be helping out a dad and his family. I'd be very grateful if you did that too. The link is pinned in the chat if you're watching live, and there's also a link in the description of the video. There's 2 books there, great books for the family, and if you could purchase one or both, that would be really awesome and helpful to them. All right, here we go. Welcome on this MAGA Monday morning. My name is Brian Craig, and man, oh man, do we have so much to talk about. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio, and man, oh man, we have so much to cover. I'm going to start with this amazing press conference that the president announced. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time today, or as I like to call it, instead of Eastern time, I like to call it Mar-a-Lago time. But the president is going to have a very important press conference, and it's going to be all about cleaning up D.C., and we're very excited about that, all of us. You know, it's not just that there's all this winning going on, which is amazing, right? Any of you guys get sick of winning? I don't. It never gets old. But also, you know, it's not just that, you know, there's some things that are just nonpartisan issues. And President Trump is doing so many things that are universally good, and the liberals just can't give him any credit for it. And we got a couple of big things that he's doing this week, and we're going to cover them all. Now, the first, I'm going to read to you what President Trump posted on Truth Social, and we'll talk about it. But this is the cleaning up of the crime and the homeless in D.C. So let me read this post. This was President Trump on Truth Social yesterday. I'm quoting here, President Trump on Truth. We're having a news conference tomorrow, which will be today, this morning, Monday morning at 10 a.m. We're having a news conference in the White House. I'm going to make our Capitol safer and more beautiful than it ever was before. The homeless have to move out immediately. I like that, immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the Capitol. The criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. It's all going to happen very fast, just like the border. We went from millions pouring in to 0 in the last few months. This will be easier. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our Capitol back. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is exciting. And there's another big story that is out. Friday, President Trump has a scheduled summit meeting with Putin in Alaska. So both of these stories very well could have a connection. I'm going to bring them up and talk about them, and you're welcome to call me about these stories toll free at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. The homeless and the crime in D.C. is out of control, as it is in other blue cities. I've been wanting to go to D.C. to make some YouTube videos for my YouTube channel, but I haven't gone because the homeless and mostly the crime is so bad, it's not safe just to go and walk the streets. And it's a national embarrassment. President Trump, he drives through the city. Sometimes he flies over it. He has all these very important business leaders coming to the White House, world leaders coming to the White House. And, one thing about the homeless, and President Trump, when he posted this on True Social yesterday, he included some photographs. And these homeless people, they've really upgraded things. They have tents, pretty expensive tents, and they're sleeping in the parks. And, one thing about the homeless is that all of these world leaders and important people and the president and others, when they drive to the White House from the airport, it's not just that you see the homeless have a smell. There's a few things that I've encountered in my life that just have these smells you'll never forget, smells that are so strong you can taste it. One is the homeless. Oh my goodness, the homeless. I remember when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, they had the big homeless camp in downtown Fort Lauderdale next to the bus transfer station on Broward Boulevard. Then they moved across the street in the park in front of the Broward County Public Library in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And I can remember driving by that homeless encampment with my windows down, and the smell, oh my goodness, you could taste that smell, and it was bad. The other thing that has a smell that it doesn't smell as bad as the homeless, but it's as intense, is farm smell. Any of you been on a real farm? I mean, like a real working farm where they have cows and everything else? There's a smell to a farm that you'll never forget, right? Although it's not a bad smell like the homeless, it's just one of those strong smells that you can like taste. Does that make sense? And there's something, yeah. And the liberals, I think it's a fetish that they have for the homeless. I don't really care for the homeless. It's embarrassing. This is our nation's if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take some calls in a bit, but this is an embarrassment to have all these homeless people living in tents throughout the city. Here in Palm Beach County, we have a homeless ordinance. They were panhandling on the intersections. You cannot panhandle if you're homeless, or anyone. You can't panhandle at the intersections on the major roads. You still can on side streets. And it was, and I was very much involved with passing that ordinance. This was, I don't know, many years ago here, maybe 10 years ago now. And what happened is kind of what's going on with Trump in D.C. I would be driving to my house. I'd stop at an intersection, and there'd be a panhandler, one on each of the four corners. It was enough. It was just too much. People would come to my house, and they'd say, "Oh, Brian, you got a lot of homeless around here." It was embarrassing, and all this stuff. And so we passed a anti-panhandling ordinance. So the panhandlers, they moved to Broward County, most of them. And many years ago, when I lived in downtown Fort Lauderdale, the homeless were it was out of control with that homeless camp down there. And I interviewed on the radio. I was an anti-homeless advocate, and people thought I was nuts, but I wanted them gone. And I had the mayor of Fort Lauderdale on, and I said to the mayor, I'm not going to say his name. He's no longer mayor, and he's a good guy, and I don't want to embarrass him by saying his name right now. But he was a pretty famous Fort Lauderdale mayor, and he's a good guy, and I like him. Although this blew my mind. I was a lot younger then, and I said, Mayor, why are you letting all these homeless people live in the park? I can't go in the park. He said, the park belongs to the public. It's a public park that belongs to the public, and the homeless are a part of the public. I'm like, what? So you can just move in there? And that's what's going on in D.C. And when it comes to the homeless that are living in these tents and things in the parks, when I go to Broward, I still see them. You know, these tents that the president showed in the parks in D.C., I see some of these tents throughout South Florida here and there, not as much as I used to. It's the summer. The homeless come to Florida during the winter with the birds because it's too hot right now for them. So they come down when it's cold up north. They come here with the birds in the winter. But it's an embarrassment, and they need to go. But most of the homeless people, they fit one of a couple of categories. Most of them, about 98, 99% of them. One is they have criminal records, and warrants. Many of them have warrants, and they live with the homeless to hide out from the warrants. Some of them have hardcore addiction issues, substance abuse issues, and most of them are just severely mentally ill. And it's dangerous to have these people out living in public like this, and they need to be rounded up and moved out. And what's going to happen is this is going to become the model for other blue cities around the country. Maybe the president will declare a state of emergency and clean up the crime and homeless in Chicago next. But this has got to go, and I'm hoping that they show the roundup of the homeless on television. The media, be prepared for this. They're all going to be veterans. Watch. Oh, they're running out veterans. They're running out homeless veterans. Just because someone has an American flag and some camo on or says they're a veteran does not mean that they are a veteran. But if they truly are a veteran, they can find some help at the VA. But watch the media just have meltdowns about this. And of course, the crime. I mean, look what happened to the guy from Doge. I don't want to say his name. People like to say his name. I'm like, you know who I'm talking about. I'll call him BB for now. Not like Netanyahu, another kind of BB. But the guy from Doge, those teenagers were coming after his girlfriend, and he intervened and almost lost his life over it. What were they going to do if they got to the girlfriend? Probably rape her. That's how dangerous it is in D.C. So these criminals got to be rounded up. That's the way it is. But I think there may be something going on about that I want to tell you about. But first, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Oh my goodness, yesterday, it's been raining off and on over the weekend. It's hurricane season. And yesterday, I saw the clouds coming over my house, and they were moving so fast, it almost looked like tropical storm clouds. They were moving so fast, and there were clouds moving in different directions at a high speed, and they were black, and I thought, oh man, I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. So what does that mean? He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. Well, he's a good MAGA guy. If you just need a simple repair, he'll do it. If you need a new roof, he'll do that too. He works on residential, commercial, and municipal. So give him a call. He can handle a job of any size, and he's been in business for over 40 years. Whether it's one home or office building or an HOA that has over 300 units, he can handle that too. And this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. So call or text him, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. Online, LaportaRoofing.com. My name's Brian. We'll take our first break of the week and be right back. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to some calls in a bit. Got to finish up here with what we're doing. Now, guys, I put the link to those books I put in there the other day. One of our regular listeners has asked me to help them. Their family falling on some hard times, and as opposed to putting together a crowdfunding campaign, a GoFundMe, Dad is offering a couple of books that he's written, and they're great books for the whole family, children's books. And I've pinned the link in the live chats on the live streams. They're also in the description of the video. So if you could click that link and buy one or both of those books, you'd be helping out a family who needs it. And in exchange, you're going to get these great books. And I'd be very grateful if you did that, guys, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. If you can buy one, that's awesome. If you can buy one of each, that's spectacular. And I thank you in advance for it. You'd be helping out a good family. The link is pinned in the chat. Okay, we'll be back in just over a minute. Just over a minute. If you're on hold, you hang in there. Welcome. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you'd like to call in about anything I brought up so far, the number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls in a little bit. Okay, so the second story is the president has a summit meeting scheduled for Friday in Alaska with Putin to begin the negotiations to end this insane war in Ukraine. And it's been a long time since we've had a summit with the president and the leader of Russia. I don't think we've had a summit, like a real summit, since Reagan and Gorbachev. They used to have summit meetings all the time, and those are a big deal. And Alaska, it's pretty far away. So, and you know, let's just get it out there in advance. No matter what peace agreement Trump comes up with, the never-Trumpers and the Democrats are going to tell you it's a bad thing, right? But here's the deal, okay? This is a great thing. We want to end the war. Ukraine is now taking enlistments of soldiers, new soldiers. They've raised the enlistment age to 60. When a country is at war and they start bringing in senior citizens, the end is near, okay? That's you know, Ukraine is on the ropes. The liberals are already saying, I saw that idiot astronaut, Senator Kelly, Mark Kelly, oh, Putin's a war criminal, you can't meet with him. If you want to end the war, you got to meet with Putin. This isn't total war like in the Second World War, where we're totally obliterating the enemy countries and they're going to collapse. That's not going on with Russia. If you don't meet with Putin, we're going to have a war that goes on for decades, which is what the establishment want, because the military-industrial complex donors want it, and it's money. But President Trump has this summit meeting scheduled in Alaska. And I want to throw this out to you, and let me know if you think this is a possibility. I was thinking about this early this morning, because I was reading a story that liberal activists are heading to Alaska, and they haven't even said where in Alaska the summit's going to be. Have you noticed that? But it says liberal activists, and Alaska is huge. People don't realize how big Alaska is. It is massive. Massive, massive. But it says that liberal activists are heading to Alaska so that they can protest the Trump-Putin summit. And even though they don't know where in Alaska to go. And this has been the first massive liberal Democrat migration to Alaska since Sarah Palin was there. Remember when Sarah Palin was announced? as McCain's running mate. The fake news media took cash money in briefcases, went to Alaska and tried to buy dirt on Sarah Palin. Remember all that? Oh, my goodness. And there's been a lot of talk about the Alaska summit. You know, you can see Russia from parts of Alaska. That is true, and all of that. And Alaska used to belong to Russia, kind of. We bought it from Russia. For what did Lincoln pay for that? If I remember correctly, $1 million bucks, something like that for Alaska. But then I started thinking this. There's a couple possibilities here. When I saw that all these leftists were going to Alaska, which is so far and so remote, right? Do you think it's possible that the summit's not going to be in Alaska? It's going to be somewhere else? And I started thinking about this cleanup of the criminals and the homeless that the president's announcing today. Do you think that the cleanup of these homeless and criminals off the streets of D.C. is to make it a pristine city for Putin to visit for the summit? What do you guys think? Is that possible? Or it's very possible. Do you think it's possible that Alaska is a misdirection and that the summit's going to be somewhere else, anywhere else? It could be, and I would love it if it was at the White House. President's got home field advantage. And it would show how serious he was to have Putin come to the White House and cleaning up all the... You don't want Putin to drive to the White House and smell all the urine from these homeless. Or maybe because, you know, they're already gearing up. I saw over the weekend that they had some D.C. police already stationed in some areas they're not normally in. And then I read this morning that they're sending hundreds of FBI agents to D.C. to do the cleanup, take part in the cleanup. So is it also possible that they're timing this cleanup, that the president's going to be out of town, and maybe it would be a security risk to do a cleanup at this level with him in town, and the summit meeting could be in Moscow? It's very possible that the Alaska location is a misdirection to throw off the libs, which would be hilarious, wouldn't it? If all those liberals were in Alaska freezing their tails off, and Putin and Trump are at the White House or in Moscow or somewhere else. That'd be pretty cool. But the timing of the homeless cleanup that we're getting the announcement of today with this summit, I don't think that's a coincidence. Trump's wanted to do this for a long time, and that incident with Big B there, I don't want to keep saying his name over. I know Jesse Waters likes to say the guy's name over and over again. It's getting a little weird, Jesse Waters. But I don't want to say it over and over again on the air, even though we can say it. It is most definitely, the timing is not coincidental. He's wanted to do this for a while. He was planning on doing it. But this week, it's either because he's going to be out of town, out of the country, or he's cleaning up the town for Putin. And rounding up the homeless is not going to be that difficult. It's going to be very fast, very swift, very quick. I just hope it's on television. I want to watch it live. I really do. And what I want to watch live on TV is I want to hear the liberal reaction to the cleaning up of the crime and the homeless off the streets of Washington, D.C. And, you know, here's the thing. Washington, D.C. is not just our nation's capital. It's a federal city. The United States government, the federal government, are in charge of D.C., not that idiot Democrat mayor and city council they have. It's a weak city council, a weak mayor, and there's a congressional committee that has oversight over D.C. So this isn't President Trump federalizing, just federalizing a random blue city. The federal government has authority over D.C. It's always been that way. You can't have a local municipal government being higher up in power than the president and the Congress and the whole federal government. Because if the Washington, D.C. City Council and mayor had the kind of power that, say, like the mayor of New York has, who's like a real mayor, think about the things they could do to hold the Congress and the president hostage. They could shut down the roads. They could turn off the streetlights. They could tear up the roads. They could do all kinds of things to cause havoc. So what President Trump is doing, and what he's going to announce that he's doing, is regular oversight that the federal government has always had over D.C. They've just never taken advantage of it. Now, we are welcoming a new sponsor on the radio show today. You may have heard me talk about them online, but we're welcoming them on the radio today, and that's Chapter. Did you know millions and millions of seniors around the country are on the wrong Medicare plan? That's right. You may be on the wrong Medicare plan and you don't even know it. And that's money, in many instances, big money that you're wasting and benefits that you're missing out on. I want to tell you guys about Chapter. Chapter covers the entire United States. So no matter, I'm going to give you the number in just a moment, but no matter what state you are in, Chapter can help you with your Medicare. And it's free help. It's going to cost you nothing. That's right. In just a few minutes, you call, you're going to get a real person that's going to be able to help you with your Medicare questions, whatever those questions are. In just a few minutes, they'll compare every plan available to find the one that's right for you. You know, there's over 24,000 Medicare plans. And Chapter, because they're a nationwide company servicing all 50 states, have access to all the over 24,000 Medicare plans out there. You know, Chapter clients save an average of $1,100 a year. You heard me right. Chapter, and that means some of them save a lot more. Chapter clients save an average of $1,100 a year every year on their Medicare. The help is absolutely 100% free. There's no catches, no tricks, no strings attached. If you're already on the right plan, they're going to tell you, so you have peace of mind. And when open enrollment comes around, which will be here before you know it, very busy time of the year, you'll be able to jump the line. So call Chapter. I'm going to give you the number. Get the right plan. Save money and take all the stress out of your Medicare, okay? 805-754-3033. And remember, no matter where you are located in the United States, Chapter can help you in all 50 U.S. states. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. We'll be right back. Now, guys, again, if you could click that link I have pinned in the chat and pick up one or both of those books and help that family out, I would be greatly appreciative of it. And I want to thank you all, because I know some of you have helped them out and picked up those books. And I want to thank everyone who's already bought the book or the books or will be doing it. So the link is pinned in the chat, and it's also in the description of the video. One is the flower story, and the other one's about a boy going to the dentist. They're children's books for the whole family. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. And welcome, everyone. All right, we've got about 30 seconds or so, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, cleaning up the crime and the homeless in D.C., how could you be opposed to that, right? How could you be opposed to that? Who wants to live? And you know, you got to really feel you feel bad for the people that live in these cities. You know, all these blue cities around the country, the people live in fear. They're under siege. You know, you can't go out on the streets. Your cars get broken into. You can't let your kids go outside. It's just not safe. Why should people have to live under the fear of the homeless and of the criminals on the streets in these blue cities? And, you know, there's certain things that are nonpartisan. Being able to walk the streets without the fear of being raped, mugged, killed. You know, this is a universal thing that we all agree is, you know, the way things should be. Unless you're over on MSNBC. This is MSNBC talking about Trump cleaning up the mental patients and criminals and the urine and everything else, just cleaning up D.C. This is the MSNBC take. Oh, okay, majority black and brown. What a negative racial stereotype. So this anchor, whoever he is, he looks like he's wearing a lady's jacket. I don't know who this person is, but they're on MSNBC over the weekend. What, they believe that the criminals and the homeless in D.C. are all black or brown? Sounds like he's got a bit of a racial stereotype going on there, doesn't it? I don't assume that. But anyway, let's see what the panel has to say. Oh. What large city is majority white where there's high crime and other things going on? Can someone tell me that city? Maybe San Francisco? Well, we should get that on the list and clean that one up. Mm. Mm. Now, we don't need more prosecutors and judges. We just need to arrest the criminals and run the homeless off the streets. That's it. How can you be against such a thing? All right, let's take a couple of calls. I have so much to cover today. This was one of the biggest news weekends ever, and we do have a lot to cover. All right, our number, 888-465-2631. It's toll free. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. It's Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie. First call of the week. How'd that happen? It's the roulette wheel.
Wow. We have a genius in the White House.
Yes, we do.
I mean, he is 100% right on everything, and he's exposing the Democrats It's called, in poker, you call a guy's bluff if he's got a bad hand, and that's what the Democrats have. You look at everything he's doing here. Let me really quick. Why all of a sudden the gerrymandering?
Yeah.
So he exposed the Democrats for being hypocrites.
Yeah.
Then in California, he's got these animals attacking law enforcement officers, ICE, and trying to and taking the
That's
side
right.
of illegal immigrants that invaded the country.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong on that one too.
Yeah.
Then he turns around and now he's got Washington D.C. and you know what they're saying? Well, crime is down in Washington, so now they got to defend criminals and homeless.
Really? That guy from Doge, those teenagers, they were going to rape his girlfriend. Why do you think they went after her? It doesn't sound that the crime is down to me. It sounds like it's only down because people are afraid to walk the streets, so they're not going out.
Exactly.
But the criminals are wandering around, and these homeless people, it's like a zombie movie during the day.
So now he's forcing them to take every bad position you can imagine. What do you think he posted those pictures of those tents in the park?
Oh man, I couldn't believe it.
He did it for a reason. He's showing they can't defend this, and they're going to try. They're going to attack him and saying, well, first of all, the latest demonstrations they got all over Florida and everywhere else, I guess, is he's a king. He's a
That's
pedophile.
right. He's the great MAGA king. He's the great MAGA king. He likes that. Well, here's the thing. These tents, this new thing with the homeless, you saw those camping tents. Those are expensive tents. And, Fort Lauderdale, you go to Fort Lauderdale Beach, which is run by Democrat lunatics, and you see those tents on the beach. When did homeless people start getting these expensive pop-up tents? I mean, those are like massive tents. It's this new trend.
But he's, the people see this like you and I, normal people. And at first they're going to attack him. They're going to say that he's right away, he's bringing soldiers into he's a dictator. He's bringing soldiers into the streets. They're wrong on this one. The people are for this. And even some of the people in the city, they don't want to walk around in fear like this. He's right about everything he's doing. And it's a joke because he's boxing them totally in. Mm-hmm. He even brings it. Listen, even in New York, he's saying in the mayor race, there's a communist running. He doesn't sugarcoat it and say socialist. He calls them right out of communist.
What's going on now, over the weekend, Governor Cuomo did an amazing thing. So this guy, Zohan, he lives in government-subsidized rent-free home. He and his family are millionaires. His wife, her family, they're even richer than his family, and they're living in a rent-subsidized government housing. And then Cuomo came out and had a press conference in the street. There were hundreds of people there, including all of the press, and Governor Cuomo is proposing Zoran's law, a law making it illegal for wealthy people to live in government-subsidized rent-free housing. And it really, this guy Zohan has gotten a free ride. People weren't paying attention. His rich mommy and daddy bought him this candidacy, and so he won the primary. Now he's up against the professionals. And you saw Governor Cuomo, the Democrat establishment are not going to hand over the city of New York to these lunatics. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I want to bring something up to you, too. Yesterday, I'm sure you saw Christine Wilker, how she destroyed Pritzker, and Pritzker thought he was going to get a softball interview.
Yep.
Well, Wilker. Unbelievable. I mean, this guy is sitting up there lying, and then she exposes the map to him and says, what do you call this? Your own state. This guy looked like he couldn't answer the questions. He was dancing.
Yeah.
They're exposing all of these phony, fake bums, and that's what they
That's
are.
right. That's right. And this guy Zohan, he just got married in Africa, right? Him and his wife have been married. They've had 3 ceremonies. They got married in New York, then they flew off to Dubai, which is where her family lives. They had a big wedding in Dubai, and then they went off to Africa and got married. This time was their 3rd time. They had wedding ceremonies on 3 continents. This man of the people. And I was thinking about this. By the way, what's the carbon footprint for that? The other thing is this. He won't condemn the global intifada. This is an ongoing thing. He still has not condemned the global intifada. If I were talking to him, my question would be not would you condemn the global intifada? Was 9/11 part of the 9/11 was part of the second intifada, okay? So was 9/11 part of the global intifada, and do you condemn 9/11? Has anybody asked him about 9/11?
No, but you want to know the truth, Brian? You are in business. You run your own finances and you have a business. And this guy never worked a day in his life.
Well, he didn't have to. He's got rich mommy and daddy.
But he's not qualified to be mayor of New York. I would vote for you over him.
I couldn't run New York.
Anyone who works.
It's a big
More qualified.
Being mayor of New York City is a bigger job than being governor of most every state. It's huge.
But you're more qualified than this fool. This guy is only a clickbait guy on TikTok. This is what
That's exactly right.
Stupid people.
That's right. All right, appreciate the call.
Morning.
Take care. Has anybody asked him to condemn 9/11? And I'll tell you another thing. Where's the firefighter union and the police union in New York? Where are the 9/11 families? Has Zohan condemned 9/11? Has anyone even asked him? Because that is a part of the global intifada. Now, oh man, this is amazing. You know, we've got an incredible offer going on at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane, of course, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. Here it is. Free shipping on all orders site-wide of $100 or more. That's a great deal. Plus, you get the discount. Let me give you an example. Well, right now, the per-cow bed sheets, just $39.98, a huge discount with our promo code Kane at checkout. Or the premium My Pillow, regular price $69.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, just $24.98. So if your order totals $100 or more, it's free shipping, plus you get that discount on the items as well. Yeah, that's right. Isn't that something? And it doesn't matter what you buy as long as it equals $100 or more. Free shipping site-wide with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at MyPillow.com. Do your Christmas shopping. Start doing your Christmas shopping here in August. This offer will not last long. Free shipping site-wide on all orders of $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And again, you get the free shipping plus the discount on the items. MyPillow.com, promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. We'll be back in about a minute. By the way, guys, if you could click that link in the chat and buy one copy or both of those books, you'd be helping out a family in need, and I'd be very grateful. So the link is pinned in the live chats. There's two great children's books, and as opposed to helping out a family, in need with just a donation on Kickstarter or GoFundMe, they're actually offering the books, which I think is really nice. You know, most of the time when people ask me for help, they got to GoFundMe. I think this might be the first time someone's called and asked me to help them out like this, where they actually have a product. So click that link If you order one, thank you. If you could order two, that'd be spectacular. The link is pinned there. You'll be helping a family in need out. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show on this MAGA Monday morning. I wanted to play this clip. This is from Joy Brown, I guess her podcast. Listen to this. She's a real piece of work. This is what got her canned, and she's continuing her race baiting on her podcast. Oh, that's something upcoming. Now listen to the next part. Yes. Okay, now see, I want to remind you guys, Melania, before she was married to the president, she and was a U.S. citizen, our international supermodel first lady, Melania, she had a work visa to do her international supermodeling work. Her visa expired. She went back to her country, left the United States, went back to her country, applied, got her visa updated and approved, and then came back. So this is a normal procedure. That's right. Yeah, CNBC. Joy Reid. No. Oh my goodness. Okay, she's just out of her mind, Joy Reid. She's completely insane, a very nutty person. No, that's not what Trump's saying. This is the deal, okay? We have tens of millions of illegals in this country, all over the country. One of the easiest places to do deportations is probably the farms, because they're there. But there's so many millions elsewhere. So one of the biggest issues in the country are food prices. So what they've done is President Trump has made a very smart decision, prioritizing the deportations in the big cities where you just have people hanging out in New York City hotel rooms, living the life with room service and everything, with cash, debit cards, and EBT, free hotel, free education for their kids, free health care, as opposed to deporting the farm workers who are actually working. But if you started deporting the farm workers, what would that do? It caused food prices to go up. So it's best to start with the people in the cities that are here illegally, that are basically retired, living off the government. That's all. He didn't say anything about field hands or anything. That's Joy Reid and what she hears all the time. But that makes sense to me. If he went after the farm workers, they'd be so upset. Oh, these are hardworking people, and look at the price of food now because they've gone up. Now, they'll go after the farm workers in time, but not first. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I talked with you yesterday, and something this morning I just can't let go. I was thinking of it yesterday, too. Long ago, Bill O'Reilly used to bring up to people who were pointing out bad behavior, hey, you don't point out and justify bad behavior by pointing out other bad behavior. Okay, so if, according to the left, Trump cleaning up D.C. is bad behavior, then I'm going to point to Gavin Newsom, who cleaned up the streets of San Francisco for the Chinese dictator.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. I forgot all about that. Yeah, well, the boss was coming. The head of the CCP was coming. He had to clean up. When the boss comes to do an inspection, you clean up the office, right?
Yeah, and what did you hear from left advocates and homeless advocates? And in San Francisco, they're legion.
And remember when Obama sent them in, the government in, to clean up the Occupy Wall Streeters in New York City when he was president? I didn't hear any complaints from these liberals about that. They said, oh, it's the courage of President Obama to do such a thing. Yeah.
I don't remember them saying that about moving Occupy Wall Street, which went on everywhere.
And you remember they were going, and what got me thinking about the timing of this with Trump, with this summit with Putin, when Obama cleaned up the Occupy Wall Streeters, he was on an international visit, so he wasn't in town to deal with the press when it happened. He wanted to be like out of the country when they did the Occupy Wall Street cleanup. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Good point. I'm glad. Yeah, I forgot all about San Francisco, and that was recent. Great point. Thanks for the call.
Sure.
All right. We have some thinking people out there. Yeah, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are tuned in. You know, this winning that we're going through right now is at a level I never imagined. I mean, I knew things were going to go good in the second term, right? I knew they were going to go well. But this is the most productive and perfect presidential term I think I've ever seen in my lifetime, or at least since I've been an adult. But I don't think things went this well even when Reagan was president. Now, there's a story that's gotten an update on it. You see this story about what the President Trump did with the Obama portrait of the White House? There was a story yesterday, which has been updated this morning. There was a story yesterday that President Trump had taken the official portrait of Barack Obama off the wall, and they put it on a wall in a hidden stairwell somewhere in the White House. And people were very upset, race car was being played. Well, there was an update. It wasn't just Obama's official portrait. It was also the official portrait of George W. Bush that was put in this secret hallway with Obama's picture. So that tells me that all of these investigations going into the lawfare criminals and everything, there must be some connection to George W. Bush, who's been working against him too. There must be. Why would he take down Bush's official portrait too? Now, the official portrait, is it the official portrait, the one of Obama that had those house plants behind him? Remember that weird painting? Those that are upset, because I saw some people yesterday talking about it, about moving Obama's, look at everything Obama has done to him, right? Has done to Trump. And him moving his portrait, that's supposed to be like, oh yeah, okay, how dare he? They arrested him multiple times and did everything they did the last 4 years, including Butler. But this is over the line. And the word is coming down that these grand juries are really coming down, and that Adam Schiff and Letitia James are in big, big trouble. Letitia James has the two cases, right? She's got the federal mortgage fraud case, as well as this other federal case of misusing her office, and Adam Schiff with the mortgage fraud. And I saw Michael Cohen was on television over the weekend. He said they're going to get convicted of those charges, the mortgage fraud, because there's so much paperwork about it. And Michael Cohen said that his prison sentence that one of the charges they had him on had something to do with irregularities on his mortgage, which I didn't even know that. And he says it's a very common thing. It's very easy to convict on. And it's really indefensible, because if you've ever been in a closing, you sign so many documents that are explained to you. And Letitia's a lawyer. Is Adam Schiff a lawyer? He probably, I don't know what I know he's a jerk. That's for sure. He's got a graduate degree in that. But your signature when you're doing a closing is on so many things. And in Letitia James's case, it's many mortgages. So there's no doubt that they knew what they were doing. And when I heard Michael Cohen say over the weekend that they're going to get convicted, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. If you could only get one convicted, though, who would you want? Letitia James or Adam Schiff? Oh, yeah, they're both good. But if you could only have one, I would rather see Adam Schiff. If I could only choose one, I'd rather see Adam Schiff get arrested than Letitia. If I could only choose one. I want them both arrested. But if I could only pick one, I would rather see Adam Schiff. Wouldn't you? Absolutely. If you're on hold, stand by. We got a lot more to cover, and I'll take some more calls after the top of the hour. The call's so far, we've had some very thoughtful calls who brought up some good points, some of which I had not even thought of already here at the beginning of the week on this MAGA Monday. And again, I want to welcome our newest sponsor to the radio show, and this is Chapter, who can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are in the United States. They cover all 50 U.S. states. You know, millions and millions and millions of seniors are on the wrong Medicare plan, and it can be costing you a lot of money every year. Plus, you could be missing out on benefits that you should have. You know, Chapter, when you call the number I'm going to give you in just a moment, you're going to talk to a real live person, and they're going to give you answers to all your Medicare questions in just a few short minutes. You know, the average Chapter client saves an average of $1,100 a year. An average. That means a lot of them save a lot more. The average, $1,100 savings. So when you call, you're going to get a real person. They're going to answer all your questions, and the help is 100% free. It's not going to cost you anything. There's no strings attached, no catches. If you're on the right plan, they're going to tell you, and you'll have peace of mind. But if not, you could save a boatload of money and also get an increase in your benefits. Give them a call no matter where you are in the United States. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. Save money. Take the stress out of your Medicare and get on the right plan. 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. Oh, this is great. Okay, we got some big updates here we'll get to when we get back. A little more than 30 seconds and we will be back. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, we got some updates. This is great. This is great. I mean, this is just amazing what's going on. The only time I've ever disagreed with President Trump is I'll never get sick of winning. But we can't get too used to it and too comfortable, okay? We're never going to have another Trump. The winning. Okay, so got a big update on the cleanup, but let me recap the top of the story. Then I'm going to get into the big update that I have for you. So today at 10 a.m., President Trump is going to have a major press conference about this, and he posted on Truth Social what it's about. And this, I'm going to read now from the president's Truth Social post. We're having a news conference today, 10 a.m., in the White House. I'm going to make our capital safer and more beautiful than it ever was before. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the Capitol. The criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. It's going to happen very fast, just like the border. We went from millions pouring in to zero in the last few months. This will be easier. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our capital back. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So the president is having a 10 a.m. press conference today about this. And on this post on Truth Social, he included a bunch of pictures that show the homeless in their tents in the parks, the trash in the streets, people sleeping and stuff. It's just a mess. And now we got an update. Listen to this. Federal agents begin crackdown in D.C. This is exciting. It's already happening, people. We're taking back our capital city. This is in the Daily Mail. Donald Trump was preparing to deploy up to 1,000 National Guard troops to flood the streets of D.C. as federal agents began making arrests Sunday night. So we're taking back D.C. It's already happened. Last night while we were sleeping, I guess that's the best time to get these people when they're passed out, drunk in their tents. And we got the FBI, instead of the FBI going to school board meetings and writing down the license plate numbers of parents in the parking lot and then harassing them, they're actually doing some law enforcement. Donald Trump was preparing to deploy up to 1,000 National Guard troops to flood the streets of Washington, D.C., as federal agents began making arrests on Sunday night, last night. This is awesome. Trump was expected to announce the deployment during a White House press conference on Monday as he pushes for a federal takeover of the city amid a crackdown on crime. It is not a federal takeover. The feds already have authority over over Washington, D.C. They've just let this city council run amok. It's a takeover, but they have the ability and the right to do it because they control D.C. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our capital back, Trump warned on Truth Social. Photos taken late on Sunday night showed several federal authorities working in coordination with one another, including the FBI and Border Patrol. Oh, this is great. We're taking back our capital city right now. The Battle of D.C. has begun. This time, instead of pushing out the redcoats in the War of 1812, we're pushing out the homeless and the criminals. In one instance, a man was detained by police along U Street in the Capitol as FBI and Border Patrol agents assisted. Oh, this is awesome. A short distance away, DEA agents could also be seen standing guard in DuPont Circle. Oh, man. It came as Trump deployed 120 FBI agents to work alongside D.C. police and other federal law enforcement officers working the night shift in the city. And the D.C. police, I'm assuming they're technically federal workers, aren't they? Isn't the D.C. Metro Police Department under the U.S. government? It's got to be. The National Guard mobilization was expected today, as U.S. officials told NBC4 in Washington that Trump was considering deploying 1,000 troops. The White House declined to confirm details, but signaled Trump is prepared to act. And I'm looking at the photographs. They are not messing around. We won't get ahead of the president on any potential announcements, one official told NBC News, but the president has been clear that all options are on the table when it comes to making D.C. safe again. How could you be opposed to this? Who is opposed to cleaning up crime? Trump has been suggesting the federal crackdown for days, using his Truth Social platform to promise a major announcement today about his anti-crime plan. It has become one of the most dangerous cities in the world, Trump wrote. It will soon be one of the safest. Yeah. The president has likened his plans for D.C. as similar to his administration's aggressive crackdown against illegal immigration at the southern border. And that was happening with some hardcore, here you got a bunch of winos and stuff. So, it's a little easier than these cartel organized caravans at the southern border. President Trump says, I'm going to make our capital safer and more beautiful than it ever was before, he said, while pledging to immediately clear out the city's homeless population and take swift action against crime. So watch the media today start to get out the violins for the criminals. It's all going to happen very fast, just like the border, Trump says. We're going to have to federalize D.C. and run it the way it's supposed to be run. See, this is what I was telling you. The federal government is in charge of Washington, D.C., and they've let these incompetent idiots for a long, long time on the city council run it. And look what they've done, right? They've turned it into Hollywood, like in California. I lost my place. Okay. It's going to happen very fast, just like the border. We're going to have to federalize D.C. and run it the way it's supposed to be run, Trump declared. Speaking to reporters the following day, he added, the rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it, and that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly too. Violent crime is down 26% compared with this time in 24, according to D.C. police data. And first off, I don't necessarily believe anything that the D.C. liberal police have said lately, but we see how these bureaucrats play around with the numbers, and they knew this crackdown was coming because Trump's been talking about it a long time. So it would not surprise me if the liberals that put out the statistics for the D.C. Police Department showed crime was down to try to make it difficult or maybe give the press something to run with when he goes to crack down on the crime, which already has begun. I mean, the battle to take back D.C. has begun, and I can't wait. If Trump signs the order, it would mark one of the largest peacetime guard deployments in the Capitol in recent memory. But during a Sunday interview, the Democrat mayor of Washington, D.C., Bowser, isn't that the character from the Mario Kart? I don't know. Insisted the Capitol was not experiencing a crime spike. Well, tell that to the guy from Doge who just got the tar beat out of him by this gang of thugs that were going to rape his girlfriend. That crime is down. Didn't look like it was down to me. That guy from Doge, I don't like to say his name. I call him Big B. I'm not going to say the name over and over again and smile like Jesse Waters does. He loves to say that name, doesn't he? Just over and over and over again. Then he smiles when he says it. It's a little weird, Jesse Waters. But he was beaten so badly, he looked like Reginald Denny in the LA riots or one of these Israeli hostages in Gaza. So for Mayor Bowser here to come out and say the crime's down, go tell it to him. He risked his life stopping his girlfriend from being raped and maybe murdered by some of the youth in her city. Goes back. It is true that we had a terrible spike in crime in 2023, but this is not 23, Bowser said on MSNBC. I'm going to call BS on that. What do you guys think? Bowser said she believed Trump was exaggerating the need for troops to be deployed onto city streets, mainly because the district is not experiencing the crime spike that Trump suggests. Yeah, right. That's why President Trump has shown the photographs. Well, if there's no crime spike, there won't be any criminals to arrest, Bowser. The mayor explained how she spoke to Trump a few weeks ago in the Oval Office, during which the pair discussed crime in the Capitol. The president is very aware of our efforts, Bowser said. He established a task force, which our police department and agencies support with information and anything else they ask for. It's always the president's prerogative to use federal enforcement or the National Guard. Bowser suggested she had already anticipated Trump's next move. I'm glad they moved in last night before the announcement. It's clear that the president and I suspect that his announcement is that he is surging federal law enforcement, which he's talked about. So already, I mean, think about this. You know, a mayor of an American city, their primary duty is to make, they got a lot of duties, a city mayor, okay? But their primary duty is to protect the citizens of the city. So here you have the mayor of D.C. who's out there criticizing the man who's coming in to protect the citizens. They got everything backwards, these Democrats, right? She's more concerned about the felons on the streets. To Bowser, her constituents are the criminals. That's what it sounds like to me. All right, now if you're on hold, stand by. Speaking of security and safety, I want to tell you guys about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. You can get a free doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Slomin's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and your windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call, toll-free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. We'll be back in about a minute, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years. Oh, I'm sorry, I slipped. 49 years. See, we just hit the 49th celebration year, so celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in and comment on anything I've brought up so far, please do. You're welcome to at 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So much news has broken over the weekend, so we got a lot to cover. So the summit between Putin and Trump, this is going to be huge. And this is something that should have happened a long time ago. The Autopen administration of Biden. You know, that was the first time I've seen a war that we've been involved in a long time when there were no discussions. You know, even during the Vietnam War and Korean War, there were nonstop peace talks while the fighting was going on. Not that the peace talks were ending anything, but at least they were talking. And the many people on the left, the never-Trumpers, the Republican establishment, they're in a panic right now. They don't want this war to end. There's too much money in it. And I'm really hoping that they come out with an agreement after the first meeting. But when I was a kid, there were nonstop summits, it seemed like, almost every weekend with Reagan and Gorbachev. And they were big deals. The last one I want to say was in New York City when Bush 1 was president-elect. I could be wrong, but that seemed familiar. But remember, the president went to Moscow, Reykjavik. There were a whole bunch of them. And they were productive. And this one will be too. And I'm excited about it. I really am. We have not had a real presidential summit since Reagan. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Well, first, I got to say, I think your idea to have President Trump not be in Alaska, just to let everybody think where he's going and have it in Washington. I hope that's
well. What I was wondering, the timing. I mean, he does. What I was talking about at the top of the show at 6. I read an article early this morning that said that the liberals are sending activists to Alaska to protest Trump. Now they have not announced where in Alaska the summit's going to be, unless I've missed it. So they're on standby in Alaska. And I was thinking about this cleanup of D.C. Could Trump be cleaning up D.C. so that Putin doesn't have to see homeless and smell pee in the streets when he's driving to the White House? Is the summit really going to be in D.C. or somewhere else? And Alaska is a misdirection.
I hope you're correct. That'd be fantastic. First of all, just to think that they want to send people over to any place to protest a peace. Summit.
Who protests a peace summit?
I mean, what's that?
Right?
People, no matter what you do, like you said, man, no matter what you do, they just have to come up with something to complain. These people are sick. They just got to complain all day long, no matter what.
Yeah, that's right.
But what are you going to do? And cleaning up Washington is way overdue. Nothing. Last time I was in Washington, I said, "Wow, there's so much."
Yeah, I've been wanting to go to D.C. here in Trump's second term, to make videos for my YouTube channel. There's it's really cheap, by the way, to fly to D.C. from Palm Beach. It's like really cheap. I can't believe it. It's under $200 round trip. And I haven't gone because it's dangerous. I don't know the city too well. It seems pretty dangerous. And now that they're going to clean it up, maybe I'll head up there from time to time.
Certainly, they say there's no spike in crime.
Give me a break.
Isn't everybody?
The Doge guy, his whole body was covered in blood. He looked like the last time I saw an American government official, a government worker, beat up and so bloody is when the terrorists took over our embassy in Libya. Remember that? And we saw the embassy. I mean, he looked bad. I don't know how he survived that.
Yeah, he's lucky he survived. Man. He was beat.
And what were those thugs going to do with his girlfriend if they got her? Rape her. What else? Why'd they go after her and not him? And Bowser's saying that, oh no, the crime's down. BS.
The crime's down. they just got to say something.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I know. I appreciate the call, Doug. Take it. Now, so Doug brought up a good point. Who could be against, who would protest peace talks? Peace talks. I'll tell you, Democrats. This idiot, Mark Kelly, what a beaut he is. He's one of these guys. Do you know any guys like this, like Mark Kelly? A lot of guys, they start to lose their hair, so they don't like going bald. So they cut off all the hair on their head and go for this Mr. Clean look. It's not a good look. You know, the eyes, everyone's eyes are in the middle of your head. And for white guys like me, when they shave their heads for the Mr. Clean look, they look like space aliens. If you've got dark skin, if you're black or Hispanic, you know, it doesn't look that bad. But if you're a white guy, you look like a freak when you shave your whole head. Own your baldness. Now, I'm lucky. I haven't lost a hair, so it's easy for me to say. But Mark Kelly, his bald head is the least of his problems. His main problem is that he's a liberal. So, yeah, Doug said, who would protest peace talks? Democrat Senator Mark Kelly. Listen to this idiot. Oh, my goodness. Oh, should have extracted something for this visit. You know, this guy here, Mark Kelly, what are you supposed to do? He's a war criminal? They say Trump's a criminal. There's a war going on between Russia and Ukraine. If you want to end it, you got to meet with Putin. You can't say, well, he's a war criminal. You know, in the Second World War, there were no peace talks. It was total war, and they would accept no terms except unconditional surrender. So they bombed them out of existence. That's not happening with Russia. It's never going to happen with Russia. So you got to meet with them. You know, and what President Trump is doing is the right thing to do. How else are you supposed to have an end to the war if you don't meet with Putin? And where are you supposed to meet him? I like Alaska, but like I said, that very well could be a misdirection. It seems pretty far for President Trump. I would not be surprised if we find out that Trump's going to Moscow. It would not surprise me at all. D.C. would be great. That's possible too, and they could be cleaning up the city for Putin. It would be embarrassing as a country to have Putin fly into D.C. with the homeless and the criminals all over the place and the trash. But I don't know, is there enough time to clean it up before Friday? I don't know. They did a good job for the parade. Now, I want to ask you this question. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? Neuropathy is god-awful. The symptoms are god-awful too. Now, you may have neuropathy and don't know it. You know, I'm going to go through the symptoms of neuropathy. If you have some of these symptoms, you can give Lighthouse Medical a call and talk to them, go see them, and they'll let you know if you have neuropathy or not. It's bad. You know, do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, you've fallen down from time to time or all the time, muscle twitching, can you not sleep? Do you have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. If you have any of those symptoms, you may have neuropathy. But if you already have neuropathy and know it, you want to call Lighthouse Medical. You want to call them right now. They have a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment for neuropathy that lasts. Steve had his neuropathy treatment 3 years ago, and his neuropathy symptoms have not returned 3 years later after the treatment at Lighthouse Medical. It's a no-charge consultation if you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, and they can also help you no matter where you're located in the United States. Even if you're local and you can't make it into the office, they can help you remotely with telemedicine. They understand if you got neuropathy, it may be hard for you or even impossible to get out of the house. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. Huh.
Hello?
All right, hold on. We got 1 minute, so stand by.
I got you.
30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you doing? I want to start the show, or this segment of the show, in a bizarre way. I got up this morning, and what as I usually do, I check the gold prices. Anybody pointed it out to you? Anything about the gold prices today?
Now, I was going to wait for Youngerman in a little over an hour.
Well, ordinarily we would do that, but I looked at the gold prices. This is the pre-opening, or it was very, very early. Gold was down $81 an ounce.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes, it is. They're on sale. That's why I wanted to bring it up early, in case so people don't get shut out.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know how long it's going to stay like this.
Yeah, I don't know what...
There has to be a major event that costs.
I don't know. We'll find... I don't know. Is that... I guess... Is that a pre-open or an open price? Because do they open in? Because gold's always open. It's not like the stock market because it's global.
Not like this though. No, it was like down 100 points or something.
Oh, that's great. That means that means gold's on sale today. Load up.
It also can be done. I'm sure there's something major in the news, but I just can't figure out what. That's why I kind of brought it up to you.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, if anybody has any clues, I'd like to...
What in the news is triggering that?
Well, it's got to be a major event of some kind.
Usually,
Maybe to do with the negotiations over the tariffs, something huge.
Yeah, like a lot of times. I mean, I'm not saying this is it, but I noticed over the years that when oil goes down, gold goes down sometimes, right? That gold is kind of tied to oil sometimes.
Going down is one thing, but going down 80 some odd points is another.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll find out.
That's amazing.
But it's also gold's so high that you get bigger swings too, because it's over $3,400, so you get bigger swings, right? When it was $1,500 an ounce, you get a few dollars. Now that it's so high, you get. I don't know. We'll find out when you. That's why we do the Gold Report with William Youngerman. He's the expert. We're just
wanted to tip Steve
laymen.
Listeners off early. Also, word is, I don't know if you heard about it, the word is that they're getting ready to cut interest rates.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
For those people who've been thinking about refinancing,
that's right.
We got good news for them.
Yeah, we do. There's nothing but good news going on in the whole country. It's all good. When the president did us a big favor, he's having his historic press conference after we go off the air today, which is nice. Although if he did it during the show, I could pull it up and play it, and we could carry it live. But at 10 a.m., the president is having his big press conference on cleaning out the homeless and the criminals out of D.C. And they've already started the cleanup. Last night, they've got FBI working alongside the DEA, with the D.C. police and other federal law enforcement, and they've already started picking up the homeless and the criminals from the streets last night. So I don't know what they're going to call the operation. Maybe the president will tell us in the press conference, but I guess it's right now I'm going to call it Operation, I don't know, Take Back D.C. or Clean Up D.C. I don't know.
Clean up.
Yeah.
Operation Cleanup.
But, the president posted these photographs with his announcement yesterday of the homeless. And and I bet you know this smell, Steve. It's a smell you never forget. These homeless encampments, they have a smell that's so thick, so heavy, so bad that not only is it a smell you never forget, it's a smell that you can almost taste. And growing up in New York, you got to remember the smell of the homeless in New York. You know, that's just the worst. And I don't.
When I was growing up, the homeless problem wasn't as bad as it is now.
Yeah, but during Dinkins it was. You were there during Dinkins.
Yes,
and that was
true.
bad, you know. And
It was awful.
when I was out, last time I went to Los Angeles to visit my daughter before she moved back to Florida, I had not gone to the Hollywood Walk of Fame in many, many years. And I said, let's go. And she says, Dad, you don't want to go to Hollywood. I said, yeah, I do. I want to go to Hollywood. And literally, Steve, it's like playing that old game of hopscotch. You got to step over the homeless people during the day that are sleeping on the Walk of Fame. And I don't know what it is with Democrats. It's not just that they have a love affair with the homeless. It's almost like a fetish they have. I don't know what it is about liberals and the homeless, but they love the homeless for some reason. And I can't quite... the smell...
I can tell you.
What?
I can tell you what it is. The reason that liberal, especially the big cities, like and encourage the homeless is money. Because they have deals with the federal government. Who do you think pays for all this homeless services and all the federal government, which means you and I.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They get millions and millions of dollars from the federal government based on the number of homeless people they have. So that's why that was at the bottom of the whole campaign, to turn America homeless.
Well, my experience with the homeless, the homeless fit one of a handful of categories. Severe mental illness, that's one category. The second...
That's almost all of them.
That's like 99%, right? 98, 99%. And the rest of them are split between addicts who are being dropped by their families, or people that have warrants out for their arrest and they hide out in the homeless areas. And there's, that's just the way it is. And these photographs that the president showed in D.C., they're living in all the parks, and they have, now the homeless, they don't sleep on benches anymore. They have these very expensive, fancy tents. Like if you were to go camping, and I mean really do it right, you get these humongous tents. That's what they have now. These tents are so big.
They all need services, and the government supplies it, and that's what's at the root of all this.
Well, I love what the president said.
Big cities.
The president said, this is what he wrote on True Social, okay? He said, the homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you, and this is my favorite part, we will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. And I like that. And then I guess we could take them to the blue cities, since they love them so much. The criminals, and then he goes on, President Trump, the criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. Oh my goodness! I just this is great. Wild. Oh my goodness!
Well, what he said in Washington is the prototype for what he plans to do for the whole country. Eventually, he's going to use that model to show people what he can do with the whole country if given a chance, and he's going to create his own chance.
We did when we had for 10 years, and this was many years ago. We had a cable access TV show, the Steve Kane cable access TV show. And it was a very good show. It was one of the best cable shows in the history of cable access television. And there's about 100 episodes. I have them all on tape. And one of my favorites was one of the first one we did. Remember the homeless show?
I remember that. I remember the last scene in the...
with the wino?
Yes.
Well, what we did is we went around. We did it in Fort Lauderdale and in Davie. It was between University and 595 to Broward Boulevard and 95. And right. what we did was we went to these homeless people, the work for food sign people, and you interviewed them. And we would give them $5 for an interview. And they all gave us an interview. And there's this one, The liquor store's still there. On Broward Boulevard, immediately east of I-95 on the north side of Broward Boulevard, there's a liquor store called Talent Liquor. Okay, and this is a very famous store for two reasons. One, our homeless show we did there for cable access, but it's also in Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise. They go to that liquor store in Revenge of the Nerds Part 2, if you've ever watched that movie. And you interviewed this wino, and he said, I remember you asked him, why doesn't he work? And he said, do you remember what he said to you? I remember this like it was yesterday.
I remember him laughing.
He was laughing. He said, work. He says, I like the loaf. And, and after the interview, I can't remember if it was you or me or somebody, Nick was with it. One of us handed him his $5, and the camera was rolling, and you see him stagger walking to the liquor store, and he gets up to the liquor store, and he holds up the $5 and shows it through the window, and then they buzzed him in because he had $5 to buy some booze with. And it was kind of funny, but and I still have that show. But you know, when you go to these homeless people though that you're seeing in D.C. that have these tents, most all of them, even if they have a drinking problem or a drug problem, they're still mentally ill, and they're dangerous. And the reason they're out on the street is because they've either refused treatment or their families can't handle them anymore. So most of these people on the street are really dangerous. And when we did that homeless show, you were armed. You had you had your concealed semi-auto with you when we did that show. You know, remember we went under the bridge?
Yes, I do remember
where
that.
all the homeless.
I remember all of it.
Yeah, I mean that was something else. But these people are very, very
remember
dangerous.
Body piercing show?
I do. I'm sure that's your favorite.
Yes,
I'm sure. But, you know, when they arrest these homeless people, you know, almost all homeless people have, well, I should say, a huge chunk of them have warrants. So when they pick these people up and they start running them, you're going to find that a lot of them are criminals. And what's going to happen is they're going to have press conferences like they do with the deportations. And they're going to start showing you who they've been picking up on the streets of D.C., and you can't, you know, no one in any American city should have to live in a city like this, filled with crime and homeless and the smell of urine everywhere. But our capital, it's embarrassing. All these important people are coming to the White House, and they have to drive through that smell of urine and the homeless camps and everything. It's just not right. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. I want to ask you this. This is a very important question. Are you in pain? If you are, go see Dr. Appleton. You guys know he's rid me of pain 7 times. Some of the pains have been from injuries when I've had falls. My first pain he rid me of was from a car accident I had over 30 years ago, my knee pain. Sometimes just growing older, he rid me of my arthritis pain in my hand. His laser wave pain treatment not only works, it's 100% painless. And what the laser does is actually repair the damage that is causing you the pain. That's why when he treats me, the pain doesn't return, because he's repaired the problem in my body that was causing the pain, which is amazing. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, Steve. Hold on. Okay, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on. We got 2 minutes. We'll be back. 2 minutes.
Okay.
30 seconds. Welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You want to take some calls, Steve?
Yeah, I'd like to remind people that if anybody has any theories as to why gold dropped $80 before the pre-opening today,
Yeah.
I'd like to find out what the major news event, whatever it is.
Well, all I know is when William Egman opens up at 10 a.m., you know, people should call and lock in their price, right? Because it's going to start flying off the shelves today. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ford calling from Tampa Bay.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Ford.
Hey, Steve, happy almost 50th.
Crazy.
We're getting there.
Yeah, you getting there, man.
And by the way, I want to say, you know, the Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. Ford here on the line is the one that found that out for us a few years back. So, you know, that's become our tagline on the show.
Yeah, I did some investigation in Orlando newspapers. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's on your mind?
Okay, so from the late 80s till throughout the 90s and the early 2000s, I was homeless on and off, walking up and down Broward Boulevard
Oh,
all
man.
the time.
Oh, so you know Talent Liquors then?
Yeah, but they're not right up against 95. You got the Salvation Army, a lot of Salvation Army in between there.
Well, you see, I go by car, you go by foot. So in a car, it's immediately east. When you're on foot, it takes a little longer to walk. But that's okay.
I thought
You're
that
right.
was
It's just east of the Salvation Army. You are correct.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember that interview with the guy right in front of Talent sign there.
Mm-hmm.
It was nasty back there. I had to sleep out on concrete at the Broward Addiction Center, out on concrete trying to get into the Sally. You can't go to the 7-Eleven because they're always asking you for money and it smells.
Yeah.
You couldn't go out to Burger King or the old Army Navy Eagle that was there.
That's right.
Craziness. But that bus station you talked about, where the homeless tent camp was, that actually used to be the bus station.
Well, yeah. So now that you see, now we're in an area of expertise. You have homeless people. So what do you, as a former homeless person, what are your thoughts on President Trump ridding D.C. of homeless people from the parks and streets?
Well, I don't want them near the Capitol. It's a good thing because our federal government has to operate. But where's he going to put them in? Who's going to pay for facilities? Put them
Pay
in the
for
shelters?
facilities. He's gonna move them far from the Capitol. I don't know. What's the closest blue city? Baltimore?
Different, outside
Philly?
District of Columbia. Who knows? But somebody's got to build a big shelter and put them all in there.
Really?
Bring back the
Why? Why don't you just drop them off and they go get jobs or family take care of them? I mean, you used to be homeless and you're not homeless. Hold on a second. You got off the streets. Why can't they?
Because I don't know why. I just know why I didn't for so long.
Yeah.
For so long I did not because I was too busy getting high.
Yeah.
But
Ford, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
All right.
Glad things worked out for you.
Absolutely. He's off the streets. Oh my goodness. See, that tells you how bad it is. I mean, you know, and here's the thing, Steve. You know, you have these criminals around the neighborhood. It's not safe for people. And the Democrats, this is another example of the Democrat. On TV, they call them 80-20 issues. You know, that's a new phrase they have. But there's some issues that are nonpartisan that are universally accepted as a good thing. And not having criminals on the streets is something that's a good thing not to have on the streets. And the liberals, because Trump is doing it, they just can't get themselves to go along with it. Just like this summit meeting with Putin that President Trump has scheduled for Friday. You know, he's got to have some kind of outline agreement of something to work with Putin, or they wouldn't have the summit meeting. And what we're going to find is the liberals are, instead of saying give peace a chance, they're going to want to keep the war going. And they're being, I mean, who would be vocally opposed to ending a war?
Well, the problem with that whole issue is the one who wants to keep the war going is Putin.
So far, yeah, I mean, he's a nut.
Well, it's just a question to see if Donald can cause him enough pain with those tariffs and threatening the people that Russia does business with to get him to come to his senses.
Well, you know, Russia, I mean, he's talking about a total, you know, embargo, right? There's never, you know, that's never really been done. Even with Cuba all these years, there's still business between the United States and Cuba. There's still business. There's always been business between the United States and Iran and the allies. You know, so whenever they have economic sanctions on a country, it's more symbolic than anything. It's never 100%. And so that's why they never work. So when he talks about a full 100% embargo or a full 100% sanctions, that means nothing.
They don't have to embargo everything. All they have to do is embargo enough of the
oil,
fuel to slow down and stop the war machine.
That's exactly right.
Fight a war with no fuel.
And what Trump was talking about doing, and which he's done with India, is go after the countries that still buy oil and things from them. Can't do anything with China, I guess, but India and others, no. And it's, you know, it was. I remember when Trump had pointed out that we're spending all this money. This was in the first term. We're spending all this money on NATO to protect Europe from Russia. But while we're spending all this money to protect Europe from Russia, Europe's buying all this fuel from Russia, funding their war machine. It kind of cancels out the NATO work. It's just, the way the world's been run before Trump has just been insanely stupid, right? I mean, it's just been insane, and to have him in power now in such an important time is a good thing. All right, let's take another couple of calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, IB in Broward.
Oh, hey, IB.
Steve.
What's up?
Hey, old chum. I think to answer your question is, I think the market, when it comes to the gold, the anticipation of not just a quarter point drop in the interest rate, but we might be looking at a 75 basis point drop. So this is very favorable for the dollar and the economy, which would give the little shortness.
It's rocket fuel. It's going to be rocket fuel for the economy.
It was also a little bit of a profit taking, so it's a little bit was a sell off, and the anticipation of the summit with Putin, because when America looks stronger and the dollar looks stronger, then it'll kind of let the gold breathe a little bit. That comes from.
IB, I don't want to give you a hard time, IB.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a drop of 80 points in an opening on gold?
A drop of 80 points? No. That's like the stock market dropping to 2%. They'll have to shut it down.
I don't know about that, because we'll find out from Youngerman in an hour, right? Less than an hour, but. Gold is so high, Steve. I talked to William Young about this a couple weeks ago. There was like a $30-something swing, and I was which is a lot less than this. I get it, but I said, you know, these swings, they seem big, but they're really not at these prices. But we'll find out what he says. But a basis point. I just want to tell you, you said a basis point is a fraction. Like a basis point is 0.1. The 0.1, that's a basis point.
No, I should say a quarter. I should say a quarter than 0.25. A quarter, but I think we might hit 75.75. I call it basis point because I use options.
All right.
Anyway,
all right. All right. I appreciate the call. You got anything?
One more thing.
Okay. Oh, the deadly one more thing. Okay, I'll give it to you.
No. You let everybody else get the what? You let everybody else get
a rule. Let me tell IB. Steve will back me up on this. When someone says one more thing, that's a cue to end the call, isn't it, Steve? I mean, that's the SOS of a chronic.
You don't do it with Jeff. You don't do it with Ricky. You let them ask. You always like, let me make another thing.
All right, I'll give you your one last. I'll give you your one last thing.
That wasn't the last thing?
No.
Let's not forget about when Barack went to England and why Barack went to England, because you brought Barack up in the earlier part of the conversation. And I'm going back to this. Listen carefully once again. Barack and Bush have a bloodline through cousins.
Okay, all right, Bush and Obama. Okay, let me tell people about what he was referencing, and then I'll tell you about the one more thing, you guys in the audience. Okay? A chronic caller, and I like IB. He's a good guy. A chronic caller, yeah, but he's got not a lot to say. A chronic caller doesn't mean someone who calls every day. You can call every day and not be chronic and be a good caller. A chronic caller is someone who calls a show and has nothing to say. And what a chronic, it's a knee-jerk thing that all chronic callers almost have in common, Steve. You know this, right? When you're ready to hang up on a chronic caller, they'll say what IB said. One more thing. And that's deadly. And you saw what he had.
One more thing from hell.
Yeah, exactly. The one more thing is always terminal, but it's a death. Don't hang up on me, please, sir. Don't hang up on me. Yeah, but he's a good guy. I don't want to compare him to some of the in the background. He's a very nice guy, IB. I like IB, but that's like a long-time listener, first-time caller. There's a couple of phrases we don't like in this business, and that's.
Do we have another call before the break?
We don't have time for any other calls, but after the break we will. But I want to tell people about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh man, you know, Steve, I lost a few more pounds in the last week. I was just in the maintaining phase, but it's so easy. I said, "What the heck? Let me lose a few more pounds." And we haven't seen each other in person since Inauguration Day. You may not recognize me. I've lost so much weight. My face at Wings Plus. Oh, I got to tell you something about Wings Plus after the top, Steve. Remind me. When we had our Inauguration Day event for the president, my face was round. Now I've got my face back. I've got my chin back. I got my cheeks back. I got my neck. I got a neck again, and it's just spectacular. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. And by the way, my results are typical. Okay, about a pound a day, right? 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right. 2 hours down, 1 to go. Don't forget to remind me about Wings Plus. Got to tell you something about that. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. Hold on. Okay, you there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
All right, we got about a minute. All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane is joining us, and of course, this is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Couple things I saw over the weekend. I saw Michael Cohen on MSNBC. And, you know, he's one of the biggest Trump haters out there, Michael Cohen, this former lawyer. Remember, he went to prison?
Yes, yes.
And he gave them some, they get legal analysis from him. He's like he's no one better to do legal analysis than a guy who's been to prison, I guess. And he's a lawyer, so he knows both sides of it. He knows both sides. But Michael Cohen was on MSNBC over the weekend, and he predicted not just an arrest, but convictions of both Letitia James and Adam Schiff in the mortgage cases.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, then there's a guy that's not as famous, but one of the liberal heroes. There's a guy named Miles Taylor, and he worked for the Department of Homeland Security, and he was on all the liberal shows bragging that he was sabotaging President Trump in his first term through his position at the Homeland Security Department in Trump's first term. And he's predicting the same thing: arrest and convictions of Adam Schiff and Letitia James. So
how are they going to get by the Washington jury?
They're not Washington juries. They're both federal cases. Letitia's is in New York. So apparently, I saw some people talking about this. They're saying that the charges on Letitia would come out of not New York City, but Albany, the Albany area. So that's more conservative part of New York. Is Albany upstate New York? Is that upstate New York?
Yes.
Okay. So you got a more conservative jury pool. And Adam Schiff, now this is an interesting one, because while he is one of the senators from California, the mortgage fraud is on the East Coast. Is it Maryland? I can't remember which state it was in where he did his fraud. So he's not going to be in California. So both of them are out of their power bases for these federal charges. But when I see two Trump haters that are on TV day and night predicting arrest and convictions of Letitia James and Adam Schiff, that's a good one. And Michael Cohen, Steve, he even said one of his convictions had to do with some type of mortgage problem that he was wrapped up in that I didn't know about. And he did some time for that. And those are hard to defend against because your signature is on so many documents when you do a mortgage. So they've got them. They got them. And when I start to hear liberals talking about Democrats getting arrested and going to now, of course, they say that they're being targeted and it's lawfare and all this stuff.
Right.
But when I hear liberals predicting Trump-hating liberal Democrats getting arrested and convicted, that's not good for the two of them. It's not good. I mean, it's almost like, you know what it seems like to me? It's almost like the liberals are offering sacrifices. Take Schiff, take Letitia, but leave some of our Obama coup conspirators alone. It's like they're trying to make a deal, is what it sounds like, right? Like a hostage deal. So
it sounds that way, but I'll believe it when I see it.
it's all happening. We got Letitia James has
we're
two.
a long way from a conviction. We're up to the charging phase.
The only problem with Letitia is finding handcuffs big enough to go around her wrist. You know, she's got two major grand jury investigations going on. One's the mortgage fraud, which is the mortgage fraud, by the way, I'm sorry, is not in New York at all. It's somewhere in the South. I forgot which state she did the mortgage fraud in. It might be Maryland too. I can't remember. Does anybody remember what state? Remember she did the mortgages where she said her father was her husband and all of that? That was not in the state.
It was down here, I think, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know if it was Florida. I can't. These Democrats have done so many crimes. It's hard for me to keep track of where they did them. But that crime is not in New York. That's in another state, South, whatever state it was. So if anybody remembers, give us a call and let us know. So that's out in New York. The Albany case with Letitia is the case about her Virginia. Okay. Only Northern Virginia is liberal, so they got some and they've got some conservative areas of Virginia, so I'm not worried about that. The Albany area with Letitia James is the federal grand jury with her lawfare against President Trump. So she's got two federal grand juries in two different parts of the country. She's going to get indicted on both, and we're going to get convictions if not in both, at least one, and I'll settle for one. Do you know with the mortgage fraud, they're facing 30 years each in the mortgage fraud?
Cow.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big financial crime case, and Letitia's almost 70 years old. She's a lot older than people think, you know, because black people don't age as much as we white people.
Looks good for her age.
Well, plus the obesity stretches out the skin and hides wrinkles too, so she's got that going. But we're going to get a conviction in at least one of these cases on her, if not both. And you get Adam Schiff out of California with the mortgage case, he's in trouble too. Now, I don't think they're going to get 30 years, but I'd settle for 30 months or even 30 days. I'd be happy with that. And
it's all a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is...
It shows the government can work.
When you have grown-ups and real people running it.
Exactly, when they have honest people.
And and Zohan's in big trouble in New York now. Did you see what Governor Cuomo did yesterday? Over the weekend? Oh. Okay, now I've not seen this confirmed by Trump, but there was a story in the New York Times that President Trump had a phone conversation with Governor Cuomo about how to win this race. I don't know if that part's true. But the second part I know is true because I saw it. You know, Zohan, his family are multimillionaires, right? They're very rich. And he just got married. His wife is her and her family, they're richer than Zohan's family. Millionaires many times over. And he married this woman that he just married in Africa. He was already married to her. He had 3 weddings. They got married in Queens. Then they flew to Dubai and got married again because the wife is from Dubai and that's where her family is. Then they got married in Africa again. So they got married 3 times on 3 different continents. It's very strange for this man of the people. But Governor Cuomo found out that these 2 millionaires, Zohan and his wife, they live in government housing. They live in a rent-subsidized apartment in Queens that's like just over $2,000 a month rent. Okay, so Governor, Zohan, what Governor Cuomo did over the weekend was beautiful. You may see this because they're going to run this on television, I'm sure. It was so good. Zohan got lucky in that primary. No one was paying attention, and mommy and daddy spent a whole bunch of money in a couple of local neighborhoods and he won a primary, all right? Amateur hour. Now he's up against the pros. So Governor Cuomo comes out, and he had a press conference in the middle of the street in New York over the weekend. He's surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of people, and all the press was there. All the New York media and the national media were there. And he's proposing a new law in the city of New York. It's called Zohan's Law. He's proposing a new law named after Zohan Mamdani And here's the new law we proposed. It is illegal for rich people to live in government-subsidized, rent-free apartments. He said there's some woman and her family homeless somewhere in New York because Mom Donnie's taken the house. And he had this beautiful press conference surrounded by hundreds of people in the streets with all the media there about Zoran's law. It was like a maestro move. I mean, I don't like Cuomo in general because he's a nasty Democrat. But you got to give the guy credit that the chances of Zohan winning is not a sure thing anymore. And Cuomo came out and kind of gave him a warning, little warning. You're dealing with you're in the pros now, you were in the little leagues. Now you're up against the pros, and it was beautiful. And if you've seen that, you know exactly what I am talking about. Now, I want to ask you this. If you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy, I don't have to tell you, it is god-awful. But Steve, a lot of people have neuropathy and don't even know it. I'm going to go through the neuropathy symptoms. If you have any of these symptoms, you may have neuropathy. And, of course, if you have neuropathy, you want to call Lighthouse Medical and get it treated. But if you have these symptoms, you want to call them and get an examination done and find out if you have neuropathy, okay? Do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness, loss of balance? Are you falling down, muscle twitching, sleeping issues, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. If you have any of those symptoms, you may have neuropathy. Let Lighthouse Medical give you an examination and find out if you do. And then they can treat you. If you already have neuropathy or know someone who does, get them over there. It's a free consultation, no charge. If you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, and they can help you with telemedicine, no matter where you're located in the United States. And Steve, you had your neuropathy treatment 3 years ago, and your symptoms have not returned. So their Lighthouse Medical's neuropathy treatment not only works, it lasts. We're 3 years in, and yours hasn't returned. That's great. Give them a call. Here's the number, guys. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. All right. Are you gonna, Steve? You gonna do that thing with the mortgage?
Lead me into it.
Okay. I'll do it going into the next break.
Yeah, and because you got the number and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. Hold on. Oh, man. All right, Steve, we got 1 minute.
All right.
All right, we're back. Steve Kane's here. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Before we get back to the news, Steve, I'll forget. This is there is something I've not had at Wings Plus, and I don't know if you've had it. I got a text message last night from Al Knight. You know, our weekend guy. You and I know we know Al Knight for a long time.
Sure. Absolutely.
He went to I couldn't believe this. This is something I've never had before. He had the French onion soup at Wings
delicious.
Plus. Let me tell you,
All the soups are great.
I have been eating at Wings Plus longer than you. I told you about Wings Plus, right? Before they joined us, I did not know they had French onion soup. And Al Knight sent it to me, a picture of his French onion soup. My goodness, that cheese is unbelievable. It looks. I want to eat the photograph. So that's what I'm going to have next time. I'm going to have the French. Have you had the French onion soup?
I've had that. All the soups are great over there. The chowders are sensational.
Well, the thing at Wings Plus, everything is homemade right on the premises. Yep. Nothing comes out of a can, and that includes all the soups. And they're on Sample Road, about a mile west of University Drive, on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. And man, oh man, I love wings so much. It's hard for me to stray from the wings. I guess I can get wings and a bowl of French onion soup.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The soups are appetizers.
Absolutely. All right, let's and huge portions, by the way, and they give you a lot of cheese. Oh man. All right, let's take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
JJ.
Hey, Steve. I think definitely not tired of winning. I can't. I just, win after win after win. You have the Azerbaijan and the Armenia deal, which was, Trump's just he's.
How do you think he's going to do? How do you think he's going to do with Putin this time around?
I think he's going to. Quite frankly, I think the time has come. I think what happened with Trump. Well, first I'll say this. I think it's going to happen in Alaska because, Putin doesn't want to fly. He doesn't want to fly west anywhere over Europe. Somebody might take a pot shot at him.
They might. Yeah.
So it's just a safety thing, quite honestly. I think probably Putin's probably the one that suggested
he can get to Alaska by just entering Russian and U.S. airspace. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right over Russia, 50 miles over the Bering Strait, and bang.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be at a military base. This is not a fluff visit. This is let's meet. I think this is sort of a meet, and let's get it done. There's been a lot of dancing, and the dance is over. I think they're going to come out of there with something firm.
But Ukraine's on the ropes. When they're allowing 60-year-olds to enlist, that's a sign of near defeat.
Yeah, no, it's. Listen, there's just there just comes a time. Even for. Listen, Putin is not a stranger to war. If you look at what Trump just did in Armenia and Azerbaijan, Christ, right in that area between the Black and Caspian Sea, you had a couple wars in Georgia, a couple in Chechnya, one in Dagestan, and that's all in that area.
Did you see
little area?
Did you see, Steve, these guys from, I can't even pronounce these countries, Abu whatever, and the other one? He's ended so many wars. Yeah. But he took one of those guys to the White House gift shop. Did you see that, Steve?
I don't know.
No, you would have noticed. Did you? Oh, this was great. He took one of those leaders, I don't know which one it was, to the gift shop at the White House, and they have a whole wall of different Trump hats, different MAGA hats you can buy. And Trump reached over and picked up the Trump 2028 hat, and he says, and he showed it to the press and to the guy from Abu whatever stuff, and he says, yeah, they say you could only be president twice, but they really want me to run again. And he held the hat up in his hand and was showing it to the press. It was a little.
You know where you heard that first?
Yeah, it's the same hat I'm wearing right
From
now.
me.
Yeah. You've been saying that.
Overturn 22 for.
That's awesome. It was not an accident that he made a big. He was testing the reaction in the country about it. I think.
It's all been played out.
Yeah.
It's all been planned out. Thanks for your call.
All right, I appreciate the call.
Okay, Steve. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Take care. Oh, okay. So New York Post. Listen to this, Steve. This is in the New York Post right now. The U.S. military is preparing to activate hundreds of National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. as part of President Trump's sweeping federal crackdown on crime in the nation's capital, according to authorities. So it is going to be the Army. I didn't think it was going to be the Army. He's sitting in the Army, the National Guard. So that may be what the 10 a.m. press conference is going to say. I've authorized the National Guard to take back our city.
I'm sure it is.
That's great. That's great. You know if you're a criminal or a homeless person, you might as well. I guess the homeless people want to get picked up because they're going to get relocated and set up somewhere. But the criminals, I don't know. I think they're the final straw. And by the way, the last caller was right. I mean that makes sense. That's why it's Alaska, because he doesn't have to Russia to the United States, because these other countries, they want to arrest Putin, and he can't fly over Europe. He can't fly over any of these other countries because it's not safe for him. But authorizing the National Guard is a great thing. The final straw was that guy from Doge that risked his life defending his girlfriend from these teenage thugs that were going to rape her last week. I mean, you see that guy, he's covered in blood from head to toe. I can't believe what the beatdown they gave to that guy, and Trump knows him through the Doge, and that was it. It was over. If you're on hold, stand by. Now, I guess you want to make that announcement today, Steve? We got a new sponsor coming on.
Go ahead, tell him.
Well, now Steve, this was Steve's idea to do this preview. We've got a new sponsor that's going to be joining the show very soon, and it's someone that a lot of you out there, it'll be a familiar name to some of you longtime Steve Kane listeners, but they're in the mortgage business. By the way, at a national level. There's all this news about mortgage rates coming down, and
it's about to blow.
Yeah, and you wanted people before we even start promoting them that they can call us and we'll and leave their name and number. We'll forward their information to the new sponsor, and they'll be kind of like, I guess,
get a head start.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So what we're going to do, and we haven't done this for a long time, when the show is over and we're off the air, our normal call-in number, 888-465-2631, which actually is 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-GO-KANE-1, K-A-N-E and the number 1. I don't know why we don't use that so much. I always say the numbers. I don't know. But when you call our normal call-in number, 888-465-2631, when we go off the air, I'm going to turn our voicemail on. It'll go to voicemail. So if you want to get in touch with our new mortgage sponsor, call in, leave your name and number. We'll forward it to them, and you can get to work on that. And also, if you ever, if you have any questions for any of our sponsors or for Steve and I, you can always call that number and leave a message. I'll get back to you.
Well, this is the moment that everything is going to break forward for the Trump's plan, because the high interest rates have been holding things up in the housing market.
That's right.
And now the rates are going to come down.
Big time.
It's all going to happen, they say, at the beginning of September.
Mm-hmm.
And great chance to refinance. Those of you who've been stuck with those old loans that were, so high, this is your chance to refinance, to start again. Or if you haven't gotten a home and you've been putting it off, waiting for a good time, the good time is about to occur. Just call Brian. Give him the number. Where
again. Okay, now it's our regular call-in number, 888-465-2631, and then after we're off the air, If you call, you'll get our voicemail. You can leave your information. But you know, Steve, what I think what people can do is they can get in touch with our new. When we're going to announce soon the new sponsor's name and everything. But for now, call our number. You can start getting the process going. So when the rates drop, they'll just have to hit send on whatever computer they do it on, right? You'll have all the paperwork and everything done. And so it'll be like an immediate, a lot of people are struggling, Steve, with those high interest rate payments. Oh my goodness. Because
the housing market has been lousy because of this.
But the loan shark rates for some people that they've been getting, and it really messes things up. All right, so the number is the same one you would call us on the air with, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. Hold on. All right, so you got about 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. All right, you want to take some more calls?
Yes, let's do
All right,
it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, we'll take a call or two, and then there's some other stuff to cover as well. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? We've had a couple of we've had a couple of little sacrifices here where they're going to hand us Letitia James and Shiffy Schiff out west, and we're going to help. The Democrats are going to help us to pin these guys down on mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
This is much bigger. This is much bigger than this. Much bigger than this. I think we're going to see this is going to involve national security of the great Republic of the United States of America. Many, many more people bigger than them are going to be, I think, are going to be on the chopping block too. They're going to continue to feed us the little fish, and we stay away from the big.
Well, let me tell you who one of the biggest is. Don't lose your thought, okay? One of the biggest is going to be Bill Barr, who we found out he was working with. Remember, he was Trump's second attorney general. He was working with Fannie Willis in Fulton County, and he was the one who came up with the RICO charge idea.
Right.
And I think he's going to be one of them, Bill Barr. I really do.
I think so. Well, I think so too, and I think it goes go higher than that.
Really?
And I'm going to predict. I think we're going to see military tribunals.
Oh, come on! No way. Why would you do that? Why?
I do.
Why?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But they're going to try and cut this off here, and they'll sell the little fish out to try and cut off this investigation.
Well, you can see what's going on. What's going on right now is the Democrats are trying to make a deal, take Letitia and Adam Schiff, and back off of some of these big fish that they're like the Brennans and type. Yes, you are correct. They're trying to make a deal.
I think that's including. Well, they think that some of the bigger fish are off limits. I think they're going to find out that they're not off limits.
The Clintons.
I think this is much bigger than people are seeing right now, and I think we will see them.
Well, President Trump over the weekend, there was one story, and then they had a meltdown over it, and then this morning I talked about this in the first hour. There was an update this morning. They took President Trump had the official portrait of Barack Obama taken down off the wall where it was hanging, and had it put on a wall in a hidden staircase, somewhere in the Oval Office. And then there was an update this morning. He also had them do the same thing to George W. Bush's official portrait. So that means that Bush has been up to something. And this is not just random. It's not random.
Well, do you have any guesses as to who they have in mind to go after on the top?
I think to the presidency.
Oh, you mean like Clinton or Obama? If they were doing military tribunals, why have the grand jury in Fort Pierce, Florida?
Well, I know, but I think it's going to evolve into the tribunals. I think this starts to unwind. We're going to see bigger and bigger. These cases are much bigger than just mortgage fraud on application. I think if this involves the United States of America and our national security, we're going to see an evolution into something a bit bigger here.
Yeah.
But
not to change the subject, but I feel you did a good job in answering. Now, let me just ask you, any theories on why gold, the pre-opening was down $80 at the ounce?
Gold.
It's related to something.
Not really.
It has to be something major in the news, and I just trying to see if anyone can connect the dots.
Well, I mean, of course, it's very volatile markets, gold and silver, and that. My personal opinion, silver is way undervalued. Way undervalued. Okay, especially in relationship to gold. I think the historical value of the relationship with them is like 35 to 1. If that's the case, when gold hit 3,500, I think silver should have been about 96.
Well, we're going to be talking to William Youngerman in like 6 or 7 minutes, and he'll give us the rundown, Steve.
No, he's the expert.
And the numbers may have changed since we checked. All right, appreciate the call, but this military tribunal fantasy. I don't know. There are hundreds of federal judges appointed by the president, and if you notice, they've been judge shopping, right? That's why they have the grand jury in Fort Pierce, Florida. Fort Pierce, Florida is the jury pool from there is the most conservative MAGA jury pool in the United States out of St. Lucie County. and it's not an accident that they're bringing that grand jury there. So I don't believe that. I know a lot of people like to mention military tribunals and everything, and I know it sounds exciting and dramatic, but I don't think it's going to go that way. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is Mike in North Lauderdale. How are you?
All right,
Good
Mike.
morning.
Hey, Mario.
I just want to make a quick comment. The funniest thing is what I heard this weekend. They had, I forgot who was talking, but the Democrats are such hypocrites. They're talking about the Constitution, following the Constitution. Meanwhile, they were the ones that kicked Biden out and without a single vote got Kamala in there.
Correct.
And now they're talking about the DOJ weaponized against, all these Democrats. Meanwhile, it's exactly what they did to Trump for all those years. And now they're complaining about, it's not fair to do that. They're such hypocrites. And nobody, it's hard to believe that nobody sees this.
Yeah, no, we see it. And we're in this new phase. We're in this new phase. It's not about is something going to happen. Everything is happening. Everything is happening. And Adam Schiff must be freaking out that he's being abandoned by the party, that they're offering him up.
Happy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. By the way, where are you calling from, caller?
North Lauderdale.
Okay, North Lauderdale. Okay. Have we spoken before? You don't sound familiar. Okay, you're a good caller. You should call more often.
Before.
You should call more often.
I've called a few times.
Yeah, you're a good caller.
Yeah, you guys are great. I listen to you all the time. You guys are definitely excellent.
Well, I'll say this: you've got
nice
got great taste in radio shows. I must tell you that. Maybe the best taste in radio shows in the market. I mean, this is great. The only difference, though, when they were going after Trump didn't commit any crimes. These people have committed crimes. And, and one of the problems they have is they just never imagined that Trump would be coming back for another term.
That's for sure. It's caught them by surprise.
Yeah, it has. And I enjoy it every single second of it. Oh, yeah. These grand juries and everything are so historic because Democrats... I always say that Democrats are like James Bond. They have a license to do anything they want to do. The laws don't apply to Democrats. But that's not the case anymore. And if they think that offering up Letitia and Adam Schiff is going to satisfy President Trump, they're out of their minds. And I just think it was such an interesting move for President Trump to take down the official portraits of Obama and Bush and put them in some hidden staircase wall in the White House. So that means that Bush has done something involved in all of this that he's ticked off about. He did something, and there's something, and it could involve Cheney, but there's something going on with Bush GW that we don't know about yet. But I do know this, that if you want to lose weight like I've lost, go give them a call at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Steve, we've had listeners from all over the United States call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It's amazing, and they're losing weight. And, I lost about 1 pound a day without any exercise, without starving myself and eating the foods I would normally eat, and also without any medications, no pills, no injections, no prescription medications, nothing like that. And I lost about 1 pound a day. Now, if I would have exercised, maybe I would have lost a little bit more every day, but without doing exercise, and about 1 pound a day was pretty good to me. And the reason I lost a little bit more weight in the last week, because I figured, what the heck, And it feels good when I look in the mirror, Steve, and I can see my face again and everything else. The maintaining phase is so easy because there's no big lifestyle changes with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. A lot of these things, you starve yourself, or you're exercising all the time at the gym. You can't maintain that. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, with the system they have, it's easy to maintain. Give them a call, no matter where you're located, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, we'll come back with the Gold Report right after this. That's not good. Hey there, it's Brian. I'm going to put you on hold. Stand by. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to conference William in just a minute. We got about 30 seconds. All right, William, we just have about 10 seconds. Stand by. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the first look at gold and the other precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking this morning?
Looking a little bit lower today. Trading still in our trading ranges from gold, 3,300 to 3,400. Friday, we saw gold trade in a range from $3,378 all the way up to $3,407 before pulling back under that $3,400 number to close at $33.9760, which was up $2.70 on Friday. Silver gained 3 cents on Friday at $38.26 the ounce. Platinum was down $4 at $1,332, and palladium, the big loser, down $40 at $1,118 the ounce. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range so far of $33.48 up to $34.06. Right now, we're at $33.5260. That's down $45. Silver down 62 cents at $37.65. Platinum down $17 at $1,315 the ounce. And palladium up $9 at $11.27. So market's still in these ranges we've seen all summer, and still in accumulation mode.
Absolutely. You know, Steve and I were talking. These movements with gold seem big, but are they really big moves or small moves in the gold prices when gold is at this level?
Yeah, at these levels, a $45, $50 move on gold is not a big deal anymore. We're trading in ranges that, we haven't seen these high prices in ever, and so we're getting used to this $50 up and down swings. And, So that'll be part of the market as it goes even higher.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to get used to the different numbers because we're in a whole new. I don't know, a whole new era and with gold. It's amazing. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give him a call, toll free, 800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And at WilliamYoungerman.com, you can find both his address and phone number, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank
All right, take care. Okay, all right, Steve. So it went back up. It was not down nearly as much. It gained back a half.
That was going to happen.
Absolutely. That's why you want to call William Youngerman at 10 a.m. and lock in your price, guys, because it could be a hot day. So at 10 o'clock this morning, we're going to have this press conference. And I just wanted to read to you again what the president posted about this yesterday. This was on Truth Social. He announced the press conference that's going to be today at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Right.
We're having a news conference in the White House. I'm going to make our Capitol safer and more beautiful than it ever was before. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the Capitol. The criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. It's all going to happen very fast, just like the border. We went from millions pouring in to zero in the last few months. This will be easier. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our Capitol back. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I'm imagining that we're going to get an announcement of what he's authorized at 10 a.m. and why he's doing it. And the way it's being described, it's going to be one of the most historic press conferences ever by a president.
Well, yeah, but by the way, the reaction is going to be the spectacular part of it, because this plays right into that narrative that they had about him being a dictator and all this kind of stuff. I could just see them on the WMSNBC going on and on. Oh, look at you see, drag those poor people out. He's going to be arresting everybody. It's a dictatorship.
That's right.
Crap.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm guessing what will follow will be in the White House press briefings down the road, just like with the border. Carolyn Levitt's going to show you who they picked up on the streets of D.C. Who's been next to you while you've been walking around with your kids on a weekend trip to the Smithsonian. You've been walking by these sex offenders and stuff. We're going to get those kind of things. You know, most people that are homeless are criminals, mentally ill, and have hardcore addictions. And all three of those make them, if they have any one of those, and some of them have all three, it makes them dangerous. And it's also an embarrassment. And my guess would be, after this, it'll be a model for the other cities. You know, I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the first of many.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope they cover it on TV. I want to. And I'm gonna. If they cover it on television.
Oh, you can bet they're going to cover it on TV.
If they cover it
that's what the Trumps are the best at.
If they cover it on television, I'm going to watch CNN and MSNBC's coverage, because I want to watch these bleeding hearts tell us that we want to leave the criminals on the streets.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is going to be the best. I cannot wait for this. It's about, you know.
MSNBC is a must-watch tonight. I'm not even going to bother watching Hannity and.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've been doing this more and more lately. I love watching.
Because it's funny.
For liberal networks. Oh, it is a riot.
Well, you know.
It is just a riot.
The thing with it is, and this is what I keep telling people. This is the first time that the Republicans have been in charge, that they've run the country like they've won the election. Like, you know, I was talking about GW. When GW was president, we won the Congress back in one of the elections. And the first thing they did, I couldn't believe, the Republicans shared all the committeeships with the Democrats. I mean, I couldn't believe it. They had the co-chairmans and all this crap, and they shared the power. They had the same number of... It was insane. You don't do that. You know, you get elected and win so you can redistrict. So the one thing that really has them freaked out is this new census. And notice how they even admit that the last census was wrong, and they're not really fighting the census.
No choice. They're having their nose rubbed.
They're not even fighting the census, if you notice, right? They don't even fight the census.
Well, they're on the defensive in so many different areas that they don't know when to start defending.
There's too many balls in the air. They can't juggle them all.
Exactly, so to speak.
But I saw...
In all due respect to big balls.
Yeah, well, you know, did you see the J.D. Vance interview with Bartiromo?
I saw some of it.
It was very good, and he was talking about the new census. And by the way, it's not being debated. It's going to be done. It's already been decided, the new census. Okay? But
he's got momentum going now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and that's, you know, we've missed this. There's not that debate phase. Like, if you notice, Trump and JD, they're not going out there trying to convince people that we're doing this and why you should. They're just saying we're doing it. And that's... They're
using a firm hand.
Exactly. But JD told Bartiromo, he said the last census, they know that red states, and he said Florida in particular, were undercounted. And the blue states were, like California, were overcounted. So there's going to be about a minimum 20-seat gain by Republicans with this. Minimum. You know, that's why we have these, we win the Electoral College, but we have like a 2-seat majority in the House. It's insane. It's insanity. And it's just wrong. And we've never had somebody correct this. And, you know, it's been talked about a lot. And in his first term, President Trump started to do some things, but he was new in Washington, and now he knows how it works, and he's got the right people in place, and he's just doing it, all of it.
And of course, he is going to need a third term to get it all completed.
Yeah, that's why I wear my Trump 2028 hat all the time. I love this hat. It's I have more MAGA hats than any other person you know, but I wear the Trump 28 one all the time, and it's my favorite hat. And because we need one more term to complete this and get the country back on track, because we're kind of on a tilt right now, you know. But we've never had momentum like this, And did you see there was a federal judge ruled that Beto had to stop helping these Democrats? You know, I mean, it's amazing. We've never had so much winning. You know,
honesty is breaking out all over. It's scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to remind everyone. This is incredible. At mypillow.com, it's free shipping on all orders that are $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout. Kane at mypillow.com. And you also get the special deal. Like, so if you buy the pillows and there's a great deal, you get the deal plus free shipping on all orders that are $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout. Kane at mypillow.com. So start doing your Christmas and August shopping.
You want to give them one more time the number to call if they're getting ready to refinance our new mortgage guy.
Yeah.
We have a great mortgage sponsor. We have a 20-year history with.
Well, longer. I hate to say it, longer.
The best.
Yeah, don't.
If you want to.
Yeah. So what I'm going.
Tell them how to do it.
Okay. So we have a new sponsor who's going to be a name familiar to some of you longtime Steve Kane listeners, and they're in the mortgage business. And when we go off the air every day at 9, I'm going to turn our voicemail on. So if you want to get in touch with them, so you can get the ball rolling, leave your name and number, and Steve and I will forward it to them. And it's the same number you would call us on the air, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, and I'll switch the voicemail on when we sign off the air. So anyway, Steve, this is going to be, if you got any plans, if you can't buy a computer, have your cell phone on, or buy a television set, because in just over an hour, we're going to have this press conference from the president on the cleaning up D.C. thing. And I know they're going to say federalizing D.C. The Democrats in D.C. are already under federal control, so it's no dictator-like power. The city council and mayor in D.C. are you can't. There's a congressional committee that oversees the city council.
Brian, I got one question for you. Are you tired of winning yet?
Never.
Never.
Yeah. Never. No. That's the only thing that I disagree with the president on. Is I'll never get sick of winning. But with all that being said, this rounding up of these people in D.C., you really got to feel sorry for people that are in Chicago and some of these other cities. Not everybody in Chicago.
We'll get to them.
Yeah, these people are being held hostage, by these criminals in their streets. I mean, can you imagine what it's like, Steve? You're a single mom. You got little kids. You're in Chicago or you live in D.C. You can't let your kids out.
I lived in New York with a young.
Baby. With the crime was high there. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Scary.
It is. It is scary. And we're in a new place now. People are fed up, and the popularity of Trump is at a level that I don't even think could be measured. Because if you look at all these things, the redistricting in Texas, there's not even any outcry against it. The census, there's no outcry against it. This thing
there will be. Wait till they're saving the outcry till after he announces.
Well,
and then you'll hear an outcry.
And this,
what's racial matter tonight?
Well, and this thing today with the crime, it's almost like liberals don't have activists anymore. It's like the activists have all been deactivated. You know what a lot of it is? It's shutting down USAID. USAID was putting up a bunch of fake activism that really didn't exist.
Yeah.
And now that they don't have that USAID to pay for everything, I don't think that's an accident. There are no the country's always been this conservative. USAID was just funding fake mobs. That's what I would guess when there's
no question of it. The whole thing was a racket.
Yeah. So there's no homeless advocates. There's no new census advocates. There's nothing. Because and it was interesting that they targeted USAID like right in the beginning of the shutdown. So that tells me that Trump and his people knew. Everybody's always talking about Soros. It was really USAID.
We pointed to the what are they called? The NGOs.
Non-governmental organizations.
Right in the beginning.
That's right. Well, listen, we're out of time for today, but we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And this is This is going to be an exciting week. We got this thing today. We got the summit later this week with Putin. This is, we're going to have more news.
From here on in.
Oh, there's no such thing as I didn't even get to 10% of the news stories in my show prep today. Not even 10%, because so much is going on. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years 49. I slipped, Steve. I'm in a habit. Celebrating 49 years on the radio, The Steve Kane Show. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Tuesday at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane has been here. God bless America. And, of course, God bless Donald Trump. Take care, everyone. All right, Steve, you there? Oh, he disconnected. Okay, good. All right, hey, listen, guys, I got to run. I got a meeting to go to. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subscribed, please like the video and share on your socials. And I'll be back this afternoon with a new podcast, so keep an eye out, okay? My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks.